now we'll have a talk. And the kids, actually, you guys can stay sitting up here because I'm going to call on you to help with some things. And if none of you are Sean, if you want to, you're welcome to. And any other Sunday school kids here? Chaitanya, you're welcome to sit up here too, or we can come later, whatever you want to do. So, also, I need some help. I think it might be better. So I'm going to have some of you write on this board, but I'm going to move it because it's actually kind of hard to write when it's on this stand. So here's the plan. Prashant Prabhu, could you actually take that bench and put it right here? So we're going to speak about the Bhagavad-gita. So first of all, Viveka, could you come help me erase all these words? So you can erase everything, and then I'll have some of you can help me write. How many of you read Bhagavad-gita? All the way? Every verse? Okay, a few? Okay, more than a few, I think. I think you're just being humble. Hopefully, almost everyone here has read all the Bhagavad-gita a few times over. Of the kids, how many of you have read all of the Bhagavad-gita verses? Can you raise your hand if you read all the Bhagavad-gita verses? Shivani, you say you've memorized all of them? You have not? Okay. Okay, that was going to be a bold claim. So, how many others? Have any of you else? Have any others read the whole Bhagavad-gita, all the verses? Okay, not yet. But a number of them know, well, actually all of them know some verses from Bhagavad-gita, so they'll share some of those verses. And also, something some of you may know and may not know is that the Bhagavad-gita has 5 primary topics, we can say, that are discussed in the Bhagavad-gita. Before I say more, I'm just going to offer one prayer, and then we'll begin. Om Agyana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmiltam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Okay, so let's see. We can start with the kids. How many of you know one of the topics of Bhagavad-gita? Raise your hand if you know one of them. There are 5. Raise your hand if you think you know one of the 5 at least. Now, there might be some overlap, but there's a certain way that they're said. There are 5 Sanskrit words we can use for these 5 topics. Hasani, you want to say one?
Dhyana yoga?
That is in the Bhagavad-gita, but there's a certain breakdown, a certain way that we say, a certain way that we break down 5 topics. And dhyana yoga wouldn't be considered one of the 5 in this way. It's true, it's part of the Bhagavad-gita, though. Now, yes, what do you think? Bhakti yoga, we can also say is in Bhagavad-gita, and that's very relevant. Now, this other list of 5 is a different way of categorizing or explaining the Bhagavad-gita, these 5 topics. So one topic is Atma. So maybe someone can go write that. Maybe Navya, can you write? You can get a marker and just write. You won't have to write everything. You can just write on the top, whatever color you like. And then Shani, you can write later. But let your sister write Atma at the top. Just do one Atma. Topic 1. You know how to erase too? Okay, good. And you can write it big, actually. You can write it real big. Because we're just going to write 5 things on the board. So just in 1/5 of the board. Just 1 dot Atma. Shivani, would you like to tell everyone what the word Atma means?
The soul.
Yes, very good. And so the first topic of Bhagavad-gita is the soul. Bhagavad-gita discusses what the soul is, or who the self is, what the self is, what the soul is. And we'll read all 5 topics. Topic 2. Does anyone have a guess what topic 2 would be? What do you think?
What the body is?
Pretty close, actually. Not exactly. We would say prakriti. So what material nature is. And that's what the body is. So you're right. The body is material nature. So prakriti. But we'll say prakriti. So someone, maybe Hasani, you could get up and write. Topic number 2. and write Prakriti. And you can spell Prakriti however you like. Different people spell Prakriti different ways. Topic 3. Does anyone have an idea what topic 3 would be? Shivani? Do you have an idea? It's a Sanskrit word for action and reaction. Okay, now I'll give you that. So, Hasini?
Is the third one how to go back to Godhead?
We won't say that one. We won't say that one. In this breakdown, it won't be that. It will be karma. Karma will be the third topic. So Atma, and then Prakriti, and then karma. So Ishana, can you write karma? Your sister can help you with the letters. Tell you what letters to write. You want to write the next one? Okay, actually, Vibhika wants to write karma. So Ishana, you can write the next one. Okay. The next one's an even easier word, only 4 letters. So next word. While Vibhika writes the topic number 3, which is karma, we have the 4th word, the fourth topic. Does anyone have an idea? It can be someone in the audience. Does anyone know what the 4th topic would be? The English word is time. So what would the Sanskrit word be? Kala. Kala. Do you know how to spell Kala? Okay, your sister can. It's K-A-L-A, and your sister can remind you, okay? So as soon as she's done, you can take whatever color you want, and you can write as big as you can, Kala.
Yeah, like my sister.
She can help. And now the 5th one. Atma, Prakriti, Karma, Kala, which is time. And Nishana, you can write that right now. Kala, time. And what about 5? Different, actually. In this breakdown, different. There are different ways we could break down the topics of Gita, to be fair. I mean, we could break it down, there are 18 chapters, and each chapter is kind of devoted to particular aspects too. But in this breakdown, this common breakdown, the 5th one is Ishvara. Ishvara. We can say, how would you translate Ishvara? What's one way you could translate Ishvara into an English word? What? There are different ways. You could say controller, or you could say God. So we'll say God. So then the 5th topic is God. God is discussed in the Bhagavad-gita. Okay, so now we'll look at the 4 topics, and some of you can share some shlokas on these 5 topics. Is that okay? Okay. And yes, Adi, you can write the last one. And then Shivani, and when Adi is done writing the 5th one, can you just go up and write big the English word for each of those 5? Okay. Okay, so first Bhagavad-gita discusses Atma. Bhagavad-gita discusses the self, who the self is. And there's one verse where Krishna says that the Bhagavad-gita discusses the topmost knowledge. Do any of you remember this verse? Where Krishna discusses the topmost knowledge? And he says, and one thing he says in this verse, well, first you can, who should recite it? How about Shivani? Can you get up and recite it? You can take that microphone. Stand up and you can recite this verse. Yeah, you're right. Rajavidya Rajaguyam.
Rajavidya Rajagukyam Pavitram Idamuttaram Pratyakshavavam Dharmyam Susukam Kartavyayam.
Very good. And would any of you like to say what this verse means? Any part of it? Well, one thing that's being said in this verse.
That's it right here.
Do you have the whole translation? You want to say it? You can read it.
This knowledge is the king of education, the most secrets of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization. It is the perfection of religion, it is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed.
Yeah, so Krishna says that in the Bhagavad-gita, Rajaguya is provided. The topmost knowledge is provided. And the topmost knowledge will give direct perception of the self. It will help you understand the self. Self-realization. And one of the first things that's said in the Bhagavad-gita, yeah, you can go right up the other ones, yeah. One of the first things, one of the first items of knowledge we need to understand from the Bhagavad-gita, you could say it's the first step in self-realization, is that you are not the body. Is that you are not the body. And so there's a famous verse in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad-gita where this is said. Now let me think of who I want to recite this one. How about Vibhika? Do you know a verse about that you're not the body? Do you know a verse in the Bhagavad-gita about not being the body? How about Dehinosmin? Do you know that verse? Yeah. Okay, you want to stand up with the microphone and recite that verse?
Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tata dehantara praptar dhiras tatra namohyati.
Thank you very much, Vibhika. Hare Krishna. Yes. So this is one of the first things Krishna teaches about the self. First of all, that you are not the body. And if you can't understand this and you cannot go further in self-realization. This is a very essential thing to understand. Thank you so much, Vibhika. Would you like to? Yeah, please. Please say whatever you like. Do you remember the meaning in English already? Yeah, go for it. Stand up and say.
The meaning of this shloka is, as the embodied soul continuously passes from boyhood to youth to old age, similarly, the soul goes to another body at death. A solar person is not bewildered by such a change.
Thank you. That's really good because it's difficult enough to memorize the Sanskrit, even though it's kind of easier because it's poetic, it's shorter, it's more concise. But the translation, memorize that is much more difficult. So very impressive, Vibhika. Thank you so much. That was really good. And so that's one thing. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gita that he'll provide the knowledge about self-realization. And one of the first things is Dehinosminita Dehe, that the soul is just continuously passing through the body. You are not this body. And another thing that Krishna says about the self is that the self in this world is very confused. The self in this world is very confused in the material world. Can any of you think of a verse where Arjuna is saying that he is confused? Yes, Hasani.
Karpanyadoso pahatasvabhavaha pritchami tvam dharma samudacheta yashreyasyan nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam.
Thank you so much, Hasani. Would you like to say anything about that translation?
So in that verse, Arjuna says to Krishna that he's very confused and he does not know whether to fight. This Bhagavad-gita happened in the war field of Kurukshetra. And when Arjuna saw all his family members on the other side of the battlefield, he was so confused and desperate. Should I fight them or not? That's what he asked Krishna in this verse.
Great, thank you so much. So Arjuna in the Bhagavad-gita takes the position of the soul, the Atma in the material world. That the Atma is in the material world right now and is confused, does not know what's in his or her best interest in the particular body. It's very confusing, a troubling situation. And there are more verses, but for now we want to cover some of each topic. So what about Prakriti? Krishna discusses Prakriti in the Bhagavad-gita. Do any of you have a verse you'd like to recite about Prakriti from the Bhagavad-gita? Or else I can give you some hints of some verses. There's one verse that some of you know, where Krishna mentions that he is the source of both material and spiritual worlds. Raise your hand if you might know this verse. It starts with aham. Okay, Adya, you know this one? Okay, how about Vibhika? You want to do this one? You want to give her the microphone? Okay, stand up.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matta bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita.
Thank you so much. And would you like to recite that translation too? Yeah, that one's difficult. Okay, well, I'll read this one, okay? I can read this translation. Or you can. Okay, you can read that, okay? With the microphone.
I'm the source of all spiritual and material world. Everything emanates from me.
Yeah, great. The wise who perfectly know this?
The wise who perfectly know this, engaged in my devotional service.
And worship me.
And worship me with all these devotional hearts.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Very good. So one thing, the first thing we can say is that Krishna explains that this material world is not totally separate from him, actually it comes from him. There's a material universe, which we're in right now, or there's a material realm, which we're in right now, which is characterized by illusion and samsara, reincarnation, and time. And then there's a spiritual realm. And so both of these are really coming from Krishna. Both these are coming from Krishna. But because of that, because both the all good spiritual realm and then the confusing illusory material realm, while they're both coming from Krishna, they're both very strong and they have a lot of potency. And Krishna says that this material realm has so much potency, it can really overwhelm you. And it is very difficult to overcome. Can you think of a verse where Krishna says that the material world is the illusory energy is very difficult to overcome? Raise your hand if you think you might know this verse. He says it's the divine energy of mind, which is, he's referring to the material world in this case. It starts Daivi Hyesha. Did anyone know this one? I think Shivani, you want to, I know you're learning this now. I'm not sure if you have it down yet. You want to try it? They haven't learned this one yet in Sunday school, so you can try. Say what you can remember so far.
Daivi Hyesha Gunamai
Mama.
Mama
Maya.
Maya
Duratya.
Duratya
Mam. Mamevaye.
Mametvaye
Prapadyante.
Prapadyante
Mayametam tarantite.
Mayam Edam Taranti.
So we're still learning this one. They haven't done it in Sunday school. Let's put them on the spot. Thank you very much. So Krishna is saying that this material energy is actually his energy, just like we were describing before. And actually, because the Lord is the divine energy, it's very powerful, full power, and therefore it's very difficult to overcome the material world and the three modes of nature that are discussed in the Bhagavad-gita. But Krishna says there that Mam Evaye Prapadyante Mayam Etam Tarantite. That those who are connected to Krishna, those who develop this relationship with Krishna and serve Krishna, actually it's very easy to overcome. So the material world, this prakriti, this material nature is very confusing, it's very entangling, it's very difficult to overcome, but Krishna promises that one who connects with him, who serves Krishna and understands Krishna and loves Krishna, it's very easy actually. It's very easy to overcome all the confusion of the material world if one develops love for Krishna. And there's another verse which some of you know, I do know some of you know this one, where Krishna says something like this also, that if you become conscious of him, you can pass over many obstacles. Different one. It starts with an M also. Matchitta. Do you know this one too? Matchitta.
Matchitta Sarva Durga.
Okay, you can stand up, Hasani. You can stand up, Hasani.
Okay.
Thank you.
Chita sarva durgani matprasadat tarishyasi ata chetvam ahankaran nashroshyasi vinangshyasi.
Great, thank you so much. You want to read? Yeah, you can read the translation too.
If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. Great.
So these are some things, a few things that Krishna says about Prakriti, the material nature in Bhagavad-gita, that it really is connected with him, and if we try and we learn, we can see how it's connected with him, and we can see Krishna in it. And it's also, though, if one is forgetful of Krishna, it's very confusing, very troubling, but if one remembers Krishna, surrenders to Krishna, then it's very easy to overcome the material energy. And third, as Hasni was just reading and reciting, if you become conscious of Krishna, then you can pass over all obstacles of material nature. Now let's look at some shlokas about karma. What does that say? The return of deeds or action and reaction. So karma. Do any of you have a shloka you'd like to recite regarding karma? Otherwise I can suggest some. You have one regarding karma, Akshayani? What one? What does it start with? That I'm going to call on you for a little bit. That'll be next another one. Dharma. That one, that will be later. That's a later one. How about this one? How about there's one, I know some of you know this one. Now this is a bit of a stretch perhaps, but part of Bhagavad-gita is that Krishna teaches what are good qualities. So Shivani, see if you know this one. So Krishna teaches how there are good qualities, and if you have these qualities and if you act according to these qualities, then the kind of reaction you get will not be one of suffering. You won't suffer if you actually have good qualities and act with good qualities. So if you develop certain qualities, you won't suffer so much due to the laws of karma. And so there are a list of qualities, and I know Hasni already knows where I'm going with this. I'm very bright. So yeah, there's a list of qualities. Now these qualities, Krishna says, are Brahminical qualities. They're the qualities of the Brahmanas. However, even though not everyone in the world, in fact, the majority of people in the world will not be Brahmanas fully by nature, still, we can read about these qualities and try to follow these qualities and see how we can apply these qualities and develop these qualities in different parts of our lives. So he first discusses some good qualities, and it's very relevant, very important when we're thinking about karma. So, Shamo Damas, do you know this one? Shamo Damas Tapa? Raise your hand if you know this one. Okay, at least 2 people know this one. Okay, so how about Shivani? You can recite this one. You can stand up and see if you can do it without looking.
Samodamas tapasocham shantirajavam cha jnanam va
Vijnanam. Yeah, jnanam
jnanam vijnanam astigyam brahma karma svabhavajam.
Great. Okay. And if you can remember, you can say the translation or you can read them. What do you think? These are some good qualities. There are other places in Bhagavad-gita where more thorough lists are given, but here's some lists of the Brahmanas specifically.
Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work.
Okay, very good. Now there are other good qualities which Krishna explains in Bhagavad-gita, and by developing these qualities and acting according to these qualities, then one will not be bound by harsh reactions of bad karma. And there is one verse also discussing an advanced soul or a pandit. Does anyone think of a verse describing a pandit? Raise your hand. Yeah. You want to give the mic to Adya?
Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. And it means if you want to learn a lot of knowledge, you should. Oh, okay. It's not it. Okay, never mind. So every time you want, it's fine. This is just a summary. So if you want to get knowledge, you go to a spiritual master and learn from him.
Yeah.
And take good service.
Yes, this is one thing. Yeah, you can learn from approaching a pundit. And then now there's another pundit verse, which I think you also might know. Adya, let me know if you know this one. Oh, that starts Vidya.
Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini shuni chaiva svapakecha pandita shamadarshinaha.
Now, would you like to give a summary of that one too? It doesn't have to be word for word, just the general meaning.
Brahman sees things equal, like a pandit or a dog or even a dog eater. He sees everything with same vision, an equal vision.
Yeah, perfect summary. Good. Thank you so much. Yeah. So part of the process actually for overcoming karma is first developing knowledge of what is good and what is bad. Because if you don't know what's bad, you don't know what to avoid. Then you'll be engaging in bad karmic activities, suffering more from that. And if you can become more free from karma, that doesn't mean you've reached the perfection of life, but it'll become easier to focus on spiritual life. It'll be easier to have a clear head if you can avoid bad karma, bad qualities, bad activities. Okay. And there is another verse where Krishna describes how many people who are confused, they don't have this realization, they don't have the knowledge of Bhagavad-gita, therefore there's so much lamentation. And Krishna actually is talking to Arjuna and saying, you're like this, you're confused, and therefore you're lamenting. Can you think of a verse like that? Okay, so raise your hand if you know this verse. Ashocyan. Kyra, do you know this one too? Okay. She probably does, but she doesn't have to recite. She doesn't want to. Okay, she doesn't have to. It's okay. How about Hasni? You can go again. Give the mic to Hasni so you can stand up.
Ashosyananvashocastvam prajñavadamscha vasashe gatasu nagatasuncha nanushocanti panditaha.
And what's a summary of this meaning? It doesn't have to be word for word, just something.
So, the learned souls are never they are never very surprised about what happens if once a birth or death. They're not surprised about this.
Yeah, because they understand what's going on. They understand the broader vision, the greater picture that's going on. And what is that? The law of karma. So actually, it's a huge relief to understand how the laws of karma are working, and actually can help free one from limitation when one understands the greater picture of things and how the laws of karma are working. Still, we are not instructed to develop a hard heart where we don't care about the suffering of other living entities. But at the same time, there's a kind of solace one takes in understanding that there are perfect laws of karma, and Krishna is taking care of everyone through the material nature, the laws of karma that are set up. And so, actually, understanding karma can help one become free from limitation. That's something that Krishna teaches. Now, we could say more about karma, but how about we look at the topic of time? And do any of you have a shloka which you think? What do you think? Actually, that's one I was thinking of too. That's the first one I was thinking. And I know, actually, Navya, I know Navya knows this one. So maybe give Navya a mic and see if she'd like to. There's this one that for the soul, because we had a drama last year, at the end of this year, and Navya recited this in front of everybody. And she had a whole mudras and everything. I don't know if you remember all the mudras, but you do? I don't. Yeah. So I don't know if Ishana knows this. Do you know this? Najayate Meet? Okay. Where's the other microphone? Give Ishana her own microphone. Yeah, give that one to Ishana. So Navya has full independence, and so does Ishana. Okay, good.
Najayate mruyate va kadachi nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano Nahanyate hanyamane sharire.
Would you like to say anything about this verse? Any of the translation or a summary that you can think of? Or you can read, yes.
Okay. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, and ever existing and primeval. He's not slain when the body is slain.
Good job. Navya is very good at staying focused even when, very good at staying focused. And Ishana is very good at just going for it. Really, very cool. Okay. And so this verse, Krishna is discussing how in the material world, time is acting upon us. It's not actually acting upon us, though. It's acting upon our bodies, and it's acting upon this world. But for the soul, time cannot touch it. Time cannot touch the soul. It is, as she was reading, it is does not come into being. It has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. Unborn, eternal, ever existing. The body we can't say the same for. The body is falling apart due to time at every moment. And but for the soul is invincible. The soul cannot be affected by time. That's one thing. Any other verses one can think of about time that come up in the Bhagavad-gita? Yeah. Can you think of one? Wait, I don't know if that one's... I don't know if that's much of a time-related one. Oh, sorry. Time. Any shloka is related to time. I have one in mind that I know some of you know. Actually, I think some of you know. I know Shivani knows this one. There's a verse where Krishna is saying that part of the time in the material world, why time? What's it facilitating? It's allowing all of us to take different births, try different desires, even if they're lousy desires, silly desires, and then over many, many births, hopefully, if people can come and can develop knowledge and practice according to the knowledge that's given, then one can come to understand Krishna. But it may take many, many lifetimes, actually. So, Bahunam. Do you remember this one? I know you had this recently. Okay, so do you happen to still remember that, Shivani? I know you had it at one point. Bahunam janmanamante. Okay, then I can read this one. Okay, so Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sadurlabha. So after many, many births and deaths, after many, many births and deaths, then if one develops knowledge over all of this time, then one finally surrenders unto Krishna. And so this is the goal that Krishna's discussing. But he says that such a great soul is very rare. So much time is passing at every moment, and rare is that soul that's taking advantage of that time, and over time actually making progress. For many people in the material world, because it's so powerful, one is spending lifetimes after lifetimes, time after time after time, but actually just going through the same cycles. The opportunity is always there, but it's the rare soul that takes advantage of the opportunity over time. Now you have a verse about time you want to say.
I think I know a little. Is matras parstas?
How would you relate it?
Because it's like.
Recite it. Yeah, matras parshas.
Matras
par. Everyone likes to. Yeah.
Matras parstastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkhada
Agama
paino nityas tamstikstava
tamstitikshasva
Bharata.
Jai Hare Krishna.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
So Krishna is telling Arjuna that wherever there is happiness, there is always sadness, and wherever there's sadness, there's always happiness. And he puts an example like the seasons. Whenever there's winter, summer is always going to come, and whenever there's summer, winter is always going to come.
Yeah, nice. Very good. There are some more regarding time, but I think better would be we can move on to this last topic. So topic 5, Bhagavad-gita really discusses Ishvara. And that's what's so wonderful about Bhagavad-gita. There are many traditions which recognize God, give importance to understanding God and coming closer to God. But Bhagavad-gita stands apart from them, I would argue. And I think those of you who read Bhagavad-gita would accept this too, that Bhagavad-gita stands apart for how much philosophy it devotes to understanding God. And not just what is the nature of God, but then what do I do about it? How do I actually connect with God? So much is discussed. Therefore, it's the Bhagavad-gita. It's the song of God. So, Ishvara. Would any of you like to... What verse do you have in mind, Hasani?
I have Ishvara sarva bhutanam hridaya.
Okay, let's give you a microphone. You can recite that first.
Ishvara sarva bhutanam hridaya Arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudani mayaya.
I'm sorry, I was getting distracted. We'll come to that. You want to say more about the translation? Oh wait, did you say the translation? I was distracted.
The translation, okay. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine, which is made of the material energy.
Good. Now, Shivani, you have one? Right, very good, Hasani. Thank you. Actually, let me go in a certain order. How about we do this? We'll go in a certain order, because I know that Akshani has one she'd like to recite. Chaitanya has one that I'd like him to recite. So, how about this? Let's start with this. What about, regarding God, regarding Ishvara, Krishna teaches how one can understand Ishvara. Many people are trying to, in every university, there are many people who devote themselves to understanding God and discussing philosophically about God. But Krishna says what's required to really get anywhere about understanding God. And he says it requires devotion. So can anyone raise your hand if you can think of the Bhagavad-gita verse where Krishna says that through devotion you can understand Krishna? 2 people? 3 people? So tell me, what's the first word? Bhakti. Bhakti. Okay, so how about Shivani, you recite this one? Bhakti. Okay, we'll get to that one later. Does anyone know this? Bhakti Amam Abhijanati?
Do you want to recite it? Fine.
Okay, you want to stand up, Hasani?
Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah tato mam tatvato jnatva vishate tad anantaram.
Very good. And what does that mean? What's a summary? You can read it or you can just summarize. What do you think?
Okay, I'll just read it. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion, he could enter the kingdom of God.
Yeah, so Krishna teaches that he can only be understood, really, knowledge of God can only be accessed by those who have love for God. And so it can't be something that one can just understand and grasp just while kind of standing back, even resenting God and looking at it through a philosophical lens. One actually must practice some devotion, some prayer, something, some service to God in order to develop an understanding, in order for that realization to come. So it's through devotion. And another one, how about what would you say? There's a verse which many people say now to be the conclusion of Bhagavad-gita. Now there are different ones that we could say is the conclusion. Raise your hand if you can think of one that you can think of. And I think Kyra has one of these in mind too. A verse in Bhagavad-gita in the 18th chapter that some people refer to as like the conclusion of Bhagavad-gita or the summary of Bhagavad-gita. Can you think of one? There's one. Okay, yeah. So let's see if you know it too. What about you, Kyra? Do you know this verse, Sarva Dharman Parityaja? Do you know that one too? No. What about you? Do you know that one? You're still learning it. Yeah, not all the Sunday school kids know this one yet. So how about Shivani, you do this one. You stand up and recite this one. And try to recite it without looking if you can. Then you can read it. Because I know you haven't memorized this one in class yet.
Sarva dharma pariknyaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha.
Okay. Very good. And yes. And say something about what that means. Say something about what that means.
Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear.
This is something Krishna teaches about Ishvara, about God. Is that this is actually where fearlessness comes from. Where like realistic fearlessness comes from. And to the degree that one surrenders to Krishna, to that degree one has nothing to worry about, even in this material world. And so one who can devote one's whole life, no matter what one's life looks like, how one can still devote that life and all the elements in one's life to Krishna, then one's life becomes very sweet and actually fearless, without worries, if one can just focus on giving everything to Krishna. And there's another, well, how about this? There's a verse, and I'd like Chaitanya to recite this verse. So maybe Chaitanya, can you come up here? I have something that I know you'd like to recite. There's a verse where Krishna mentions that now, the verse they just recited is, surrender everything to Krishna. Use everything in Krishna's service. And in that way, nothing in your life will cause you anxiety. Everything in your life will actually be joyful. You'll have nothing to fear, nothing to worry about if you can just give everything to Krishna. At the same time, that seems like a high task, like a high order. However, there are other verses in Bhagavad-gita where Krishna is really reducing, not lowering the bar, but just explaining how you have nothing to worry about. Anything, no matter what position you're in, you can actually do something about this. You can actually serve Krishna, and you can surrender to Krishna in so many small ways on a daily basis. There are so many things you can use in Krishna's service. You can connect with Krishna on a daily basis, which will make your life better. And so, can you stand up and say that verse where Krishna talks about offering anything, a leaf, a flower, a fruit? Can you stand up and put that into the microphone? You can stand up. Stand up? Okay.
Pattam pushpam phalantoyam yo me bhaktya prayachyati tadaham bhaktyo prahatam ashnami prayatatmanaha.
I could have asked Kyra too. Thank you so much, Chaitanya. Nice. And so what is Krishna saying here? Would you like to say? Into the microphone? He's saying that you can offer this or this or this. What are the things he's saying?
I don't know, but I don't know his stuff.
Okay. Well, what about Kyra? Kyra, can you say what's some of these? What's being said here?
If you offer me a leaf,
Yeah.
a flower, or
Yeah. Say more. Anything else? What about fruits? What about water? Yeah. But what's the key thing? You offer anything, whatever resource you have, whatever thing you come in contact with, find a way you can offer it to Krishna, a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water. But what's required in order for it to be? Yeah, with devotion.
And love.
Love and devotion. Offer to Krishna with love and devotion, and then what does he promise?
He will accept anything.
He promises he'll accept it. He says Krishna will not turn down anything that's
like
given to him with love.
Then I invited him into the gold thing.
Yeah, stand up and tell that story really quick.
Okay.
So she has a good example of this. That's coming from
This is
Shastra.
A mini story. So I think it's Duryodhan who invited Krishna to go to his palace for like staying there for dinner and stuff. And then
It was a great palace.
yeah, it was a great palace with like 5 class everything.
Yeah.
And then what was his name? Vidura was also like a great devotee of Krishna, and he didn't really have that many stuff, and
Not
he
so.
and his wife lived in like a small cottage in their house. So instead of Duryodhana, Krishna chose to go to Vidura's house over, and then Duryodhana was wondering why. And then it's because Krishna was I'll tell that at the end. And then Krishna went to Vidura's house,
Yeah.
and then Vidura was so happy. They cleaned the whole place, and then they put a mat. Then they went to someone's house and got a banana because they wanted to offer something, and they cut it into pieces. And then Vidura was offering it to Krishna, and then he suddenly noticed that his wife was giving the bananas to Vidura, and then Vidura walked into the room, and then Vidura's wife was feeding the bananas to Krishna, and then Vidura walked in, and then he was really shocked, and he was like, "What are you doing? You're feeding the banana peels instead of the banana." And then Krishna was like, "Vidura, what do you know? These are the best banana peels ever."
Nice.
And because Vidura's wife was offering it with love and respect, he accepted them.
Yeah. Thank you.
And Duryodhana wasn't offering his
Yeah.
palace with love and respect. He was only doing it because he had to.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. One person is offering Krishna so much opulence, so much, wealth, resources, and so on. The highest, you could say from one perspective, the best cooked food. But Krishna rather would prefer to go to a simpler home, the home of his sincere devotee Vidura and his wife. And not only did he accept fruit, he accepted the fruit peels that were offered to him with love and devotion, because it was simply the love and devotion that was there. He couldn't reject it. So that's a great story. So this is another thing Krishna teaches about God. Anyone can connect with God. It doesn't require you to donate money. It doesn't require you to have any kind of status in society. It doesn't require you to be near a church or a temple or anything. Anything, no matter what material situation you're in, you can find some way to connect with Krishna, to please Krishna, and he promises he will accept this. And what are some other verses? I'm going to wait for that one. What about, I'm not sure what's the best order, but how about first, yada yada? How about, you know this one too? Okay, yeah, so give him the mic. Give Chaitanya. Stand up. Okay.
Yada yada hi dharmasya glanil bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya atmanam sijameham.
Very good. Chaitanya? Would anyone like to say what this says, what this means? Anyone remember off the top of their head?
I think this was in every different time
millennia,
or era. Every era, Krishna is going to take birth on as a human on the planet and save the earth or help it.
Yeah, Shivani can say more too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Shivani, you want to add anything to that?
Krishna is saying, in every single yuga, I will come to do the establishment of dharma to make sure everyone becomes his devotee and no one
Yes, whenever any era, whenever there's a time when religious principles, when goodness is lost, when goodness is confused with immorality, Krishna likes to appear himself to help set things straight. Krishna, so a point here is that Krishna never likes to see suffering. This is one point that's explained in Bhagavad-gita. God does not like to see suffering, and because of that, that is why there are avatars. The Lord appears at different times to help remedy the suffering that takes place. So at different times, different millennia, different yuga, he appears. Yada. He appears in order to help set things straight, get things going again, because he hates to see suffering. He does not like to see suffering. And there's another verse in this regard that Akshani, I think, would like to. Can you recite this one? Paritranaya? Maybe give her the. Yeah. Give her a microphone. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, you go.
परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय चतुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे.
Yes, and so this verse makes a similar point. Krishna is saying that because at different times he comes, why? He wants to reestablish religious principles. He wants to help the world, help the people in this way. Krishna himself, Ishvara himself, though Ishvara means the controller, Ishvara is God, God himself likes to help. Krishna likes to come. He doesn't have to come. It's explained. Krishna does not have to come to the material world, doesn't have to descend as an avatar. He likes to. He likes to, because he likes to come and protect the saintly people. He likes to come and personally help. That's something that's discussed. And not only that, Krishna explains that not only does he like to help, he loves to see other living entities in this world also contribute in this way and help reestablish religious principles, help people understand what is good in this world. And so there are some verses in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad-gita where Krishna discusses this. I think, Hasani, do you have a question? No, I'm just kidding. You have it. You know what it is. I know, I'm just joking. To get the mic. So, do you know it without reading? Can you say it off the top of your head? Now, there are two. The first one, idam.
Ya idam.
Okay.
Ya idam paramam guhyam ma bhaktrisva abhidasyati bhakti maya param kritva mam evaishyati asamshayah.
Very good.
Should I say the translation?
Yeah, you can say the translation.
Okay, I'll just summarize it. So if one who realizes the supreme knowledge, which is explained in Vidya Rajaguhyam, so one who realizes this transcendental knowledge and spreads it to everyone, he will surely return back to Krishna.
Yes, very good. And then there's another verse following that also. Nachatasman. Does anyone have that memorized? Do you have that memorized? Can you say it without reading? Does anyone have this one memorized already? What about Vibhika? Do you have this one memorized? Nachatasman manusheshu. Okay, then maybe Akshani can read it. Maybe give it to Akshani to read. Or Navya, could you read this one? Yeah, give it to Navya. And then we'll have one more. Then we'll have one more shloka after this. The schedule's a little off today. That's my fault.
Nacha tasman manusheshu kachin me priya kritmaha bhavita nacha me tasmat anyaha priya tara.
Very good. And the translation?
There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear.
Very good. So Krishna himself loves to appear, he likes himself to appear in this world to give good advice to the suffering conditioned souls when good advice is lost. And then he especially loves the devotees who also do that on his behalf. The devotees who also try to understand this knowledge and share it with others for their benefit. Krishna is very pleased. He says there's no one more dear to him than someone who endeavors in such a way to share this knowledge of Bhagavad-gita. Krishna says there's no one more dear, no devotee more dear to him than someone who does that. And there's one more verse that we will recite here regarding Bhagavan or Ishvara or God. And maybe it's Yatra Yogeshvara Krishna. Raise your hand if you know this one. Vibhika, do you know this one too? Yatra Yogeshvara Krishna? Not that? Okay. And Navya knows it too? You all know it, huh? Who are we going to pick, huh? All right, everybody will chant this one, okay? And if anyone here knows it, you can chant too, okay? 1, 2, 3. Yatra Yogeshvara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanur Dadaha, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir, Druvani Tirmatir Mama. And Adya will read you have it memorized, the translation? Does anyone have the translation memorized? You do? Give it to Shivani. Let's see what you got. That's okay, don't look. Let's see what you got.
Wherever there is
Yes, I love it,
Krishna, and
The master of all mystics.
of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will be opulence, victory, power,
No, extraordinary
and
power.
extraordinary power, and morality.
Yeah.
That is my pranyan.
Yes, very good. Okay, Hare Krishna. So these are some points in Bhagavad-gita that the Sunday school kids have learned from their teachers, Paneshri Mataji, Sangeeta Mataji, and Bhagavati Mataji. And there are other shlokas they've learned that we didn't incorporate into this, and time is too short. But these are some things which Krishna teaches in Bhagavad-gita, amongst other things. And Krishna advises us that while the world is telling us that happiness is to be found by pleasing oneself, by getting pleasure for oneself, greater happiness is to be found by giving pleasure to others. And the greatest happiness is to be found by giving pleasure to God. So these things are made clear in Bhagavad-gita, how to practically apply this information, and how everyone can benefit, and how we can share these benefits with other people, how to live a clean life, pleasing Krishna, and everything else good comes from that. So thank you so much for all of your help. Now, they are serving prasadam outside. First, give a round of applause for the kids. Chaitanya, Vibhika, thank you. Ishana, wherever she went. But also, Ishana and Navya, they had a dance performance today. They're going to perform also for Janmashtami today, but they did a very good job. Is Ishana here right now, or did she go somewhere? Oh, okay, but Navya is Ishana's older sister, and so she had this very well choreographed, and she's kind of the leader of the dance group. And then last minute, Ishana decided she wanted to join the dance group. And Navya was so focused that she still didn't get distracted or anything, even though Ishana was running into you a little bit during the dance, right? But it was expertly done. So glad. But right after that, they came here to do this. So thank you so much for coming. And so if you like to get up, you can take prasadam outside on the patio. And then there is in 7 or 8 minutes there will be darshan again here at 8:15. And there'll be darshan and kirtan and arti from 8:15 to 8:30. The kids are going to have Tulsi Puja in here. They just recently learned the Tulsi Puja song. If anyone wants to stay and circumambulate Tulsi and be here for the Tulsi Puja, you can, and then take prasadam afterward, or you can just go. I know you have your schedule, so whatever you like. But thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yeah. Well, the thing is, we should have practiced. I'm sorry. Yeah. But first, before it gets too late, we want to do Tulsi Puja. So Shivani's going to sing because she very humbly let other people take the singing slots earlier. So she's going to sing. And then Hasani, can you perform the Tulsi Puja? You know how to do the Tulsi Puja? There's only 3 things. It's only incense. Put it to the side. Oh, sorry. Then you can do the puja. I only have one person to do puja right now. Actually, we're going to put Tulsi right here. Yeah, I'm going to do Tulsi. You put it here, and then I'll move it. Okay, so that's... Oh, yes, it's on the staircase. Oh, okay, no worries. Okay, so here's Tulsi. I'm going to get a stand. Okay, so we're going to put this here for the pujari. Yes. Oh, yes, okay. Right up to this line. When we are leaving that, should we get 8:30? 8:30, yeah. Okay, so I'll be right back on the Tulsi Puja. This is the. So this is 7 times, and then this is 4, 2, 3, 7, and then this is 7 times. Can you just take a turn? So 7, and 4, 2, 3, 7. Cool. So you can start, Shivani.
Namo Namah Tulasi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namah 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 Preyasi Namo Namah Radha Krishna Seva Pavo Ye Abhilashi 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 Hitamara Sharanaloy Taravancha Purna Hoy Ye Tulsarana Kunyahora Kripa Kori Koro Tare Vrindavana Basi Purna Kripa Kori Kora Tare Vrindavana Basi Mora Abhilasha Vilas Kunje Diovas Mora Abhilasha Vilas Kunje Diovas Nayana Ribo Sada Yugala Ruparashi Nayana Ribo Sada Yugala Uparashi Namo Namah Tulasi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namah Namo Krishna Preyasi Namo Namah
just open the curtains and we can't while we're still doing this. We can't do that now because I need to open them.
Okay.
Actually, so that's my time today, so.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Shivani. Thank you so much for offering the puja, Hasani. Next time we'll do it with more time, so sorry about that. We have to run.